Warning, the following show features stunts performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, the reality guys and producers must insist that none of these opinions be taken as facts. Now, please enjoy the show. Welcome back to the reality guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Hello, everybody.
And we're not going to bury the lead here. More importantly, two awesome guests this evening. Our favorite, everyone knows who watches the channel, my favorite reality TV host, the great Mark Walberg. Mark, thank you. Mark, there's camera footage of that too. There are millions of episodes of me saying that. I am not just saying that. I could intro a little cut together of all the times that there's people.
I'll take you at your word. Thank you.
Gushing over Mark Walberg. And returning friend of the program, our boy, RayRock in the staircase. What's up, bud?
It's the staircase at work, but this was an important one I couldn't miss. So here we are.
So, Mark, obviously, what you're mainly known for right now is Temptation Island. We just want to say congratulations, obviously, with the season 4 finale and reunion last night at the time of this recording. It was a great 2 hours, especially the reunion. We were all, there was a lot that came out, both good and bad. So would love to just ask you off the top, kind of how did you think the season went as a whole and kind of your takeaways even from last night?
Well, I saw the final Bonfire Reunion last night along with you guys. I hadn't seen it before that. And I thought the season was interesting. It was emotional. There were some moments in this season that I was like, what the hell? Maybe not as messy as seasons we've had in the past. I thought the reunion was one of the better ones we've had, but just so you're clear, as I wipe the shaving cream out of my ear, you could have told me. Those are I dread the reunions more than anything. I mean, I look forward to them because I get to see everybody, but I don't know how I ended up in this gig because I hate confrontation. And then the only shows I've hosted are like Moment of Truth, Confrontation, Temptation Island, Confrontation, reunion shows. And what was funny is when we first started doing this show, I don't think we did a reunion show the first season. Then we did one the second season. And I hadn't seen any of the Real Housewives or any of the reunion shows. I'm not a big reality junkie, so to speak. And so I'm doing the reunion a couple years ago. And every time it starts to go off, I'm like, you guys, let's just calm down. And, let's talk to each other with respect. And in my ear, they're like going, let them go. And I'm like, but that's against every cell of my being. And so I thought actually that this reunion show was pretty watchable. And I actually shut my mouth a lot. So that was good.
I thought it was way more than watchable. I really thought that you saw some expected developments, some unexpected developments. And like you said, actually finding out some things that have happened post you guys leaving the island, which was news basically to everyone, maybe not to some of the cast members and stuff who may have been there, but it was cool. I mean, it just, you said, I don't think you did have as much drama on the island this season, but I think you had a lot of interesting stories and some interesting people. And honestly, I thought last night, and anyone who watched, and I was pretty harsh on this specific person. I'm usually pretty positive, but I thought Anya actually came out great last night.
Anya?
Yeah, I thought I had been pretty hard on him during the season. I thought some of the things that, that was presented was pretty tough. Some of the things that he said and some of the actions, and we're not here really to judge anyone per se, but it was, I really thought I would have not, if someone had told me going into last night, you're like, you actually are going to enjoy him and you're going to actually have sympathy and think this guy had some growth. And I really did. And I think that's a good testament again to why we kind of love your show, because there was somebody who I was not a fan of all season. It doesn't absolve you of anything, but
no,
we are human. And I thought he was great.
I said to him, I think if I remember correctly, as we were wrapping up that segment, I said, I could see you working. And basically that's what I was saying. It's like, you can't measure people by accomplishment. And in my opinion, you have to at least give a nod to the effort. You may be spinning your wheels in the mud, but it's better than just sitting in the mud. And so I think some of the stuff he was saying, I could see him really grappling with trying to be a better dude. And then if I had more time to really talk with him, I would say, all right, look, man, it's not like your carbon footprint. It's not like the more you are good, the less bad, cancels out. Just start today with a responsible way of being. and forgive yourself for who you've been in the past. So I think he's carrying a little bit of a boulder of we're all pigs kind of vibe. And he's not entirely wrong if we're going to generalize us as men. And I honest to God, watching it last night, didn't know exactly where he was, if he was trying to sway the court of public opinion or, but what I do know is that right or wrong or online or not online, he's grappling with big questions and wants to be a better dude. So you gotta applaud that. That's what I hope for, is that everybody, look, I'm not doing a TV show. I wish I was, but to me, it's not a TV show. I'm kind of like, can't help myself. I get invested, and I hope that everybody kind of, myself included, leaves that island in a little bit better place than when they got there.
No, I think that's great. And that's kind of leads something else I was kind of curious about. So as a host there, I'm sure you get a pretty good vibe on some of these couples pretty early on and stuff. And for whether, not even for whether they're going to make it or not, but just for like the people they are and if they're presenting themselves as genuine. So kind of my question is, how do you kind of keep an even keel and treat everyone equally when, and in the end of the day, maybe like not all of the couple are equal. They're not all there with the right intention. Some people are pure and purely there to actually work on themselves and the relationship, and others may be there for other reasons. So how do you as a host kind of maintain your level of being equal to everyone, even when you think, or maybe can probably tell that all intentions maybe not be pure?
It starts with acceptance and no judgment. I mean, the truth is, if I wanted to sit and like quantify how real people are being or why they're there or are they wasting time or stuff like that, first of all, what the fuck do I know?
Yep.
Right? I could be wrong. Better is to meet them wherever they are. And I think this is true in life. Meet people where they are with their flaws, accept them as they are, have no judgment with them, and fill them up with love. And then whether their intention was pure or not, whatever that means, it's a reality show. Let's be real. The intention is to be on TV, right? Whether it's pure in the sense that we're talking about or not is really irrelevant. Whoever they're being in the moment is who they chose to be, and I can meet them there and love them right there and share what I feel like sharing. And if it brings them to another place, then cool. And if they stay where they are, then that's fine too. It's not mine to pick.
I mean, there's music to our ears, because kind of one of the themes that Brian and I have of the reality guys, and Brian actually made this up, so I can't take credit. We cover everything, including like Survivor. And Brian, you have people who are fans and people are into it, and they treat it as gospel, and these people as life or death, as if they were dealing with them. And Brian had a great line. He said, "It's a game show for money. At the end of the day, guys, this is a game show for money." And I just love that you were even able, as a host of a show, can acknowledge that, look, at the end of the day, this is still a show. I want to help these people, but it is a show. And there is a side to it that is for entertainment. And that's why we watch. We don't watch to judge. We watch to be entertained. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head.
Clear about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. First of all, it's a game show for money in the sense that it's a clout possibility.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not money in the sense like you're going to win $1 million, or the Bachelor is going to pick someone and you know what I mean, and win. But I acknowledge that right off the bat with all of the contestants when they arrive. I'm like, I say to them, "Why are you here?" And they give me a line of, "We have problems with our relationship. We'd like to blah blah blah." I say, "Yeah, classic. I think that's true, but I also think that you're here to get like a blue check mark on Twitter and get labs and then I say, and there's nothing wrong with that either, because the path to both of those being successful is the same path. It's being authentic. People will make you an influencer if they find something they can relate to, and at the same time, you may find love if you find something you can relate to. So, like I said before." For everybody else, it may be a TV show or a hustle or whatever. For me, it's not. I mean, It is, but it isn't, And so I kind of just I say to them, I'm buying what I'm selling. Mm-hmm. I'm committed to you leaving this island having learned something, and not from me, but from the experience. And it doesn't matter what your reason is, because it's going to happen anyway. It just doesn't matter. You just can just do you, and we'll figure it out as we go.
I respect that.
Brian, I think you had some stuff you were telling me before about asking about the bringing the people on.
Yeah, so I had a question, Mark. Just for the couples standpoint, do you have any influence on who you pick, like when they give you a bunch, or you just going blind?
What of who's on the show?
Yeah.
I'm not a producer.
Okay. I didn't sure because other shows people have influence on who they can bring on as.
If I did, I would make some choices.
Okay.
But
imagine, Mark, you had those type of choices. I said, imagine you had those type of choices.
Yeah, I don't want them. There was a point where I had a possibility of maybe renegotiating being a producer on the show, and I said, no, not on this one. You guys can do this. It's not. I'm down.
I'll just be the host.
Yeah, I'll just host it. But I meet the contestants when they arrive on the beach, and I meet RayRock and those guys when they line up for their rehearsal or pre-tape,
Right.
Yeah.
their introduction, and I'm literally scrambling to get everybody's names, right, Ray? And
Mark, I remember. Yeah, I remember you just going like, "What's your name?" And I said my name like 3 or 4 times. You're like RayRock, Big James, George, and that's how you as a host, you've been doing it for so long. That's kind of like how you remember everybody's name because you're the main guy in terms of you carried the show. Like we love you, like just straight up, like just like that.
Well, I have a lot of love for everybody on the show, even the ones who are fucked up.
Kendall.
He just said Kendall.
See, it's no, I have love for Kendall. I played basketball with him after that show.
Nice.
Didn't need to. We just showed up at the park together. But Kendall's in love now and doing his thing, making money. He's doing his thing.
That's good.
And again, I'm thrust in hosting a show that has 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds grappling with big life shit while trying to create a life, right? And I have a lot of sympathy for that. I was in that role when I was in my 20s and 30s, and everybody does it the way they do it. And it'd be really easy for me to look at somebody, and I'm not going to name any names, but look at somebody and say, you're entirely full of shit right now. And this is,
But you can't say.
this is, the quintessential fuckboy. You're like all of us.
Yes.
But it doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve me to do that. And I'd hate to look at myself at 25, although I was already married to my wife who's over there making me coffee.
Hey.
Listen to me, Brian and I understand we're both relatively newly married. Brian just had his first 2 children too. So we completely get it. But it's funny you say that because I had a question that will relate to that. So one of my earliest actual memories of watching reality TV, I'm 32. But I remember watching late night, the original iteration of Temptation Island.
Oh, yeah?
I do. And I can't remember
Your
plot
parents
details.
are very irresponsible to let you do that.
I think this is where I've ended up. It makes a lot of sense now as we're unpacking this, but I don't want to be at a bonfire. There's too much unpacking there.
1 second. Rob, thanks for the coffee. Are you good? Okay. Podcast, your wife? Podcast.
Life comes first. Absolutely.
And coffee.
It's
anyway, I'm sorry.
No, good.
Leave it in.
No, okay. But what I mean is that, so funny enough, it's like there's 2-part question here. What do you kind of think the major differences are of these 2 iterations? And secondly, like for yourself, like what's the difference of Mark then versus Mark now?
This is going to be kind of a long answer, but I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Please.
Down to hear it. So the original Temptation Island was like the 3rd reality show on network television. It was like, and I could be wrong about that, but just for reference for those people, there was a Big Brother that came out, and that was like Dutch. It came from Holland, and people were like, well, we're not so down.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor came out, everybody went crazy, and then Temptation Island came out, and I auditioned for it, just a cold audition. It's like the only show in my career where I went in and auditioned and got a call back and got the show, right? So we went to Belize to shoot this thing. And the producer was really heady, and the director was a film director, and it was like, and I'm in the jungle, and it's like, what the hell? And they didn't know me, and so we went and did the show, and it was really loose and unscripted, and they let me do my thing, and so like when we do a bonfire, then it was like a bonfire on the beach with kerosene, like pots. Like by the end of it, we'd look like a panda. Those would just be
oh my God.
For real. And there were I didn't have an earpiece. There wasn't really a stage manager. So the entire production was down the beach under an easy up, And so I kind of told him, look, we'd have a meeting before the bonfire, and I'd say, what is it that, where are the storylines, and what do you think you expect to happen at this bonfire? And I'll try to get it. And if that's not there, I'll get you something else. And so we'd roll tape, and I would just do my thing, like just do it until I was done. Like nothing, right? Then I'd walk down the beach, and they'd say, great, we got this, go back and ask these pickup questions, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how the show started. And it was the highest rated show in the history of Fox when it came out. And for me, even though the subject matter wasn't necessarily something I was so down to like do this crazy break people up thing, it was the first time as a host that they were really leaning on me to just kind of just do my thing. I didn't know I had a thing. Then 20 years later comes back, and the entire reality television industry had become a thing. Mm-hmm. So the entire crew and staff were like top of the game in this game, and they know this game. They basically invented it, even though I had been like, Ben Franklin, right?
OG.
Yeah, you're the founding father.
Exactly, before the Constitution, and then they wrote it, right? So, and even that, when they hired me again, was like a joke. It's like, I was like, right before that, I finished with Antiques Roadshow. I'm like, all right, so I'm done with TV. I mean, I'm in my 50s. Nobody's going to want this. So I'm going to go do whatever. And then I read in the paper that Temptation Island's coming back. I said, just my luck. Temptation Island will come back here again. Because when it came out originally and I did it, everybody was like, it was great. But then nobody would hire me after that because it was kind of a sexy show and, whatever. That I got Antiques Roadshow. It's a TED Talk, but it's another story. So anyway, so now I show up to this meeting about Temptation Island. They call me in for a meeting. I didn't call them. And I really thought they were just going to pick my brain. Make a long story short, I got the job. And when I showed up the job, it was really interesting because everybody there was used to doing reality TV. They came from The Bachelor, X on the Beach, You Are the One, Are You the One, all these different shows, right? And they had their systems, right? They know how to do it. They also knew how the hosts they worked with work, right?
Yeah.
But I've been out of the loop. It's like I've been in a time capsule, right? So I came out, threw down, and spit my game the way I like to do my thing, right? And you could see them looking at each other like, who the fuck is this guy? Like their only reference to me was, I think season 2 was on YouTube. So they kind of watched that to get a feel before I showed up. But I mean, they're expecting me to kind of be a tool, and they'd tell me stuff and I'd say it out loud and we'd move on to the next setup, and just not my vibe. And so what grew was this connection with the crew and staff that I just was like, wow, you guys really have this down. They were looking at me like, wow, I'm like, dude, what I'm doing is what every broadcaster is supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just doing a job that used to be the way people did this shit before you guys hired celebrities for everything, right? And
no, exactly.
So that was a real incredible journey. My wife and I, after all those years showing up to Hawaii and doing the bonfire, and I looked at her and I said, man, I don't know much about manifestation, but here I am. What I've created is you and I are in a condo on the beach. I get to bring you, and all they want me to do is sit on a box and talk about the same stuff that we like to talk about.
Yes.
Like just dad stuff, right? And then they're gonna pay me, and then we can go to the beach. So I kept, like, that first season, I said to Robbie, my wife, I'm like, if they want my hair to be blue, it'll be blue. If they want, I'll do whatever. I don't care. So the whole time I'm like looking over my shoulder every time we're done with an episode, going, real. That's what this is. We're good. And then it grew from there. It's then after that, they were really leaning in on me to say, look, that stuff you did in that first season, do that. And I was like pulling back. I was like, I'm happy to just be your host, man. Just do your show, and I'll cut me out of it. Be perfect for me. Just pay me and cut me out. Sorry, that's my dog.
It's all good. My dog.
And then here we are
right behind the chair.
Yeah, and then here we are. I was saying, here we are now, 4 seasons later. You're on the top of your game as a host. You're a star.
Well, I appreciate your love, RayRock. I appreciate that.
For sure.
I love. The truth is, I love doing TV. Period. And then, hey, there's nothing out there. Oh my God, it's 6:30.
So funny.
It's funny.
This is gonna be the first podcast where I get canceled for like harming an animal on live.
Oh my God.
Oh, there's so many videos of me like yelling at the dog or the cat to get out, kicking them out.
Stevie, come here, boy. Come here.
Brian, you should ask the one about that season you were talking about earlier.
Anyway,
What?
I don't know where we were. Thank you for what you're saying, RayRock. I appreciate that.
Oh, for sure.
I love doing it. I love doing it. I love chopping it up. I actually do adore the cast. And more importantly, I love the staff and crew. Like, I don't know, RayRock can attest, but when I'm on set, I go early just to hang out. I want to be, and like I go and hang out with you guys. I need to vibe it out. And I have to have that. You know?
No, definitely. Mark, I wish that we had more time with you as a single men and women, because as you know, you're with the couples all the time because it's the premise of the show. But we saw you, we saw you at the one-liner rehearsals, and then after that, you just popped in here and there. But we never got to, you know what I mean, like sit down, have a beer with you on our days off.
If I thought about this year, not so much for TV, because like I said, I think less of me is better for the show. But I would love to have some sort of bonfire or chat kind of moment with the singles, because to me, it's just as important to the story. You know, when we originally did the show, we hired, back in the day, we hired hot tempters, and their job was just to tempt them, I guess, right? But what I like with our executive producer and the vibe is that, look, the singles are on a journey to find love too, or not. Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a chance to say, I see you with her doing this, I see you with him doing this, but let's talk about what's your intention and what are you getting out of this, or what, I would look, I got nothing but time. I'm either going to go to the beach or sit and talk about love. So, and I would hang out. I I keep in touch with a lot of the singles afterwards, in an appropriate way. And I'm really honored by that. Right. So, I guess I'm desperate
awesome.
and needy for attention. I just like to hang out with everybody.
We say it all the time. We watch for the singles most of the time. 100%. They're more, sometimes the us are more, more. It's for the entertainment. We love them. Again, RayRock we connected with RayRock because literally on our show, we're like, RayRock's our favorite. He came out the most genuine. We love genuine people, and we love RayRock.
He turned it up right off the bat. He's like, look, come on, Temptation Island. We're here.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
Our only complaints, like you couldn't hook our boy up a little bit here. Couldn't find him love. Like, come on.
Out of that,
bro.
You know what I love though? Here's where the show really should go. I mean, really would be interesting. Is like I say, the show ends with this episode last night, but people don't. And Blake and Juicy are a thing.
Yep.
Nicole from season 3. Remember Nicole? Who was
yes.
Who I adored. She had the best, funniest lines and the sweet. I love this girl. She met a guy there in love.
Yep.
In Hawaii doing her thing. I mean, I say it all the time on the show. I'm like, you don't know how this is going to play out. You just don't know where you're going to meet and how it's going to happen. And the truth is, when you look at the couples, if you're going to do like an over under of success, of failure, of love, who stayed together and who didn't, I just don't quantify it like that. But the number of people who have found love indirectly or directly through having been on the show is really actually pretty staggering. Mm-hmm. And I love that,
No, that's
wish that happened for me.
Yeah, not yet, but
not yet.
It's only a matter of time. Who else? What's his face? Jesse from season 3 and Maddie. They're like happy. You know?
Yeah, even they were happy going in and went through well. But even last season, Julian, he actually went to my high school. They're a few years younger than me, but I actually bought a house in that town now. It's where I live currently.
Is that right?
Yep.
They're getting married next month. I mean, in July.
Yeah, I saw that online. Yeah.
Are you invited?
I'm supposed to officiate.
Ooh.
Hey.
Oh, Mark should be in town.
Yeah, it's going to be in Puerto Rico, though, I think.
Mark's not going to be in town.
But I've been watching him on the Houston Gamblers.
Yeah.
He's playing. Yep.
Tied in on the Gamblers. So that's fun.
He's in the lead right now.
2 seasons is keep up on everybody on the show.
Yeah, well, their gym is about a 4-minute drive from my house right now. So
then Brian from your show, Brian Lejeski.
Yeah.
I was in Green Bay doing a show, and I hung out with him and his mom, and we went to a bar together. And
Absolutely.
I see
That's
people
funny.
here and there.
Brian,
guys, real quick, sorry to interrupt.
You
I
gotta go
actually
to
got to
work?
get back to work. Yeah, I'm on my lunch break, but I want to say this, Mark. Whenever you're in New York, let me know. You'll meet the familia. You'll meet
all
them.
about it.
All about
about
the
the
Ray
family.
Rockers. For
You
sure.
got
Ray
it.
Rockers.
Ray
Talk
Rockers.
to you later, man.
Guys,
Right.
talk to you guys later. Enjoy.
Yep.
Talk to you
All
tonight,
my
Ray.
love, RayRock. Let me know if you need anything, buddy. Hit me up.
For sure. Likewise, Mark. Take care, guys.
Now.
Later.
So real quick, I want to just ask you, like, I know you love Temptation Island, but what was your favorite show to host, if you had to say?
You know, I get asked that a lot,
Mm.
and I have a short memory for that stuff. So, from a work standpoint, it's hard to beat Temptation Island. Even with the stress of like the bonfires, you only see what gets cut, but they go for hours.
I imagine, yeah.
Oh
By
my
the
God,
time
yeah.
I get home, I'm still going through it in my head, and I'm up to like 3 because I can't seem to shut that off. And then the next day I'm kind of wasted. But even with the subject matter being a little bit in your face, it's hard to beat Temptation Island from location, from what they asked me to do, from the freedom, the
Yeah.
breadth of the role.
That makes
you
sense.
don't get that. But there have been game shows I've done where I show up and just knock them out and going for jokes that have been fabulous, right? So I guess I have that sort of freelance mentality that I'm happy with every job.
That's great.
Antiques Roadshow was a little rough. You wouldn't think it was, but it was.
Those had to be brutal long days at Antique Roadshow at those
it
conventions.
wasn't
Really?
that. It wasn't that. It's just, how do I put this? A lot of it was what I look at it from who I was being at the time.
Okay.
But they have a way of doing stuff, and they do it well. And by the way, let me just say before I go into this, everybody on that show, from the executive producer down, I adore. But it was just different for me. They didn't want me doing any improvising. They didn't want me connecting with the people coming there. It was like they literally say, you know, as I'd walk through to say, "Hey, welcome to Antique Roadshow," they tell the people, "Don't look at him, don't talk to him," and I feed off of that. So that was a battle that I lost. And it was a lot of years of travel in the summer when I would have liked to have seen some more baseball games, but I made it. Dude.
He's great. Look at him at
This is
the
awesome.
door.
This is awesome.
You see him in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
see him. It's great.
Come here, boy. Come here.
I'm surprised Moose hasn't like reacted. He's actually sleeping on the bed in the spare room that I'm in right now. It's so
So
funny.
Mark, you're a big baseball guy. What's your team?
You know, I try to be a Dodgers fan. I'm impressed with the Yankees right now.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I like baseball, but I don't follow it. Like my son played baseball in high school, and that's when I really Little League and on through is when I fell in love with baseball. But I don't watch it that much. I like to. It's like with most professional sports for me, I like to watch the stories. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I like seeing, you know, the pitcher being a DH. That's a story, you know, with the Angels and the Yankees having a start like they're having. That's a story I dig, you know. Last night I played softball. Both my knees are skinned, and I had 2 errors.
Nice.
And
Very
I
cool.
had a fielder's choice and a hit. So not a great day for me.
Yeah,
But,
Brian's an Atlanta sports fan, and I was born in.
I grew up as an Atlanta sports fan.
Oh, really? Really?
I grew up in South Carolina, so the Braves were the only team. And then as a kid, it was the Dolphins because my
Yeah. I'm not a huge baseball guy, Mark, but I like the Falcons, and they're just a disgrace. And I like the NBA, so I like the Hawks too.
Well, that's adorable that you like the Hawks. Golden State is a team for the ages. I call them, for those of us who are Lakers fans, Stevie. Jesus, what's your deal, dude? There's nothing out there.
He just wants to be on TV. He's like, Dad, you don't put me on the TV. You don't bring me to the island.
Yeah, don't bring me to
Still
Hawaii.
young. He's 9 months old, so he's not.
Oh, he's a pup.
So you're a Lakers guy, Mark?
I'm a Lakers guy and have been since Showtime,
Nice.
but I call Golden State Lakers North.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's been fun to watch. It's been so fun.
This is one of the best teams you're ever going to see.
I'm not
yeah.
having a lot of fun right now, Mark. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, so I'm
Yeah.
not having a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, that's okay. Could be worse. Could be Boston. They're doing great,
But yeah, I mean, listen, that's usually when everyone like West Coast tells me I'm not Boston, so they don't hate me as much as they hate Philly fans. They usually feel bad for us.
and my daughter lives in Boston now, so it's just
Okay.
a conflict.
Brian, ask him about the black tapes.
Okay, Mark, I know Bill Rep said like, oh, I'd seen the earlier renditions of the show. I haven't, and I was trying to find them on the internet, and like they're not anywhere. Do you know like where we can get them? Like maybe
What, the
could you
original
send us
Temptation
some?
Island?
Yeah, I would love to watch that with my wife.
Yeah, me too.
He's like,
I have
"Man."
no idea. I thought they were on YouTube somewhere. I thought somebody said they saw like one of the seasons on YouTube, but I have no idea.
They don't provide you with any masters for being the host. They don't send you home with a nice like package of a box set like they would have in the early 2000s.
You know, a closet full of all the episodes.
Dude, not only do I not, I have no idea where we air, when we air. Like I get emails from the Netherlands. I'm like, am I on? I mean, you can't.
We're on the Netherlands?
How little information I get. Even when we're doing the show, I mean, there's a hot sheet that goes out that's like a one-page kind of recap of what's gone on since, 2 days earlier. And I read that, but it's not like, I have the inside scoop on anything, and nor have I in my entire career. I'm the last minute.
That surprises us.
I'm surprised, at least for Temptation Island. Now, listen, I did my research. You did 242 episodes of Antiques Roadshow. So I can understand PBS unless you send a donation and them not sending you some box set. But I mean, that's,
they barely paid me.
That's
box set. I got paid.
I mean, they do get the donation. Listen, we love Mark Walberg and we love some Ken Burns. Okay. So I love PBS.
Well, Ken Burns is royalty. I was just the guy who hosted Antiques Roadshow.
Did they ever let you meet Ken Burns? At like was there like a PBS con? Is that a thing where like the PBS guys all go?
You're gonna get me in trouble here. I'm sure there was. I was invited to nothing ever.
The bad boy of PBS.
I don't know what the story was, but like I just did my thing, and like it was like I don't know. There was certainly seemed to be. Let's just keep him in the box where we need to keep him and out of trouble, and that was fine. It was fine. I am grateful for those years, and the people I worked with are terrific, and that show's very, very successful, and it's better for both of us that we're moving and doing what we're doing now. So, a little frustrating, but not anybody's fault. That show predated me being there, so I didn't want to change something that was working for them.
That makes sense.
But
I have 2 more questions. We really appreciated your time. It's been awesome. One quickly, do you know if we have a season 5 coming, or has that not been decided yet?
Has not been decided.
We're going to push. We're pushing.
Please.
We will push.
I have pushed both of my followers to write the email.
Stop. But
what I am working on now in the meantime, and I'm hoping to announce it in the next 2 weeks, but
great.
I'm working with a partner, some partners to do a podcast like you guys.
Awesome.
And with some guys that I really believe in that'll produce it. And I'm not really sure what shape it'll be, but it'll be kind of like just me doing me. So, that's what I'm really focusing right now, is to try to get that up and running in the next couple months. And hopefully
we're just letting you know, Mark, we're free. We're free. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of more popular people, PBS executives wanting to come on and all, but we're here for you. We're here for you.
Executives coming on to serve me for things I've said.
And then kind of our last question, at least for me, is, Brian and I, we do this for fun, but we are growing and actually like really enjoying it, actually getting some good followership and being able to talk to people like yourself and hoping to continue to do that. So just as like host to host here, some advice for us, a couple guys who really have no idea what they're doing, but having fun.
I was going to say, I think what you're proving is that my job as a host is not, this is no offense to you guys, it's not brain surgery, because you guys didn't study this. You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
I think the answer for everything is the same. My approach to hosting has always been, it's not about the host, it's about the show. And I try very hard to just show warts and all. The perfection is not, it's not real. And so just, the more real you are, the more people connect. By the way, this is something that this is another one of my TED Talks. This is why I need a podcast, is like I have
be perfect for it. You'd be perfect for it.
But I feel like Gen Z, is that the gen we're in now? I think you guys are millennials theoretically, or technically.
Yeah, we were born in 90.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my son's 92. He's a millennial. And I am the cusp of boomer and Gen X, which at that point is just irrelevant. I'm just, they fade away. But what I like about Gen Z and millennials to some degree is that you grew up with the adjustment of some of inclusivity and understanding of racism and gender bias and sexism and all that stuff. So that conversation was with you.
Yeah.
And what I found with Gen Z, especially the 18, 19, 20-year-olds, is that really they've kind of got their head around, they may be bougie and they may be extra and all that stuff, but those core values of inclusion and judgment and bullying and racism and sexism and ageism and all that stuff, you guys have crunched a lot of that, right? And the only thing that matters, and I love this, is there is a cynicism amongst Gen Z against bullshit, right? That's why
100%.
That's why you buy cars at Carvana. That's why you buy your insurance through Lemonade. You don't need a middleman. I don't need to have a broker who is my dad's friend do stuff for me, right? And
Mark, I don't need Antiques Roadshow. I have Facebook Marketplace.
Well, even better is that what you don't need, you're going to just get me in so much trouble. Antiques Roadshow was a great experience, and the people there are fabulous, and I love them.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. The girl runs across the bottom. But what I like about this generation and my hope for the world is that your cynicism is to suss out, to feel, are you bullshitting me or not? So the only thing you really care about is authenticity, which is the only thing I care about, right?
Yep.
So that's why I can do a podcast with a group of people that are 18, 19, 20, 25 years old, and there's still some relatability because I'm not bullshitting and they can sense that, right? And that
100%.
That as a host is what I've always tried to do, but there's an entire audience that's what they're tuned to, like their concern, like their fear. We all have like these antenna for fear, right? That's like, what should I fear, right?
Yeah.
And for the young audience, the guys that you serve, the people that you serve, the 18 to 30-year-old people, the only thing they're concerned about is, am I paying for shit I shouldn't have to pay for? And are you bullshitting me? Is this a lie? Right? Because the whole world is so full of it, and I really love that. That's why I'm so turned on to kind of return to a talk show format, because I had one back in '95, but it was all bullshit. And now we could talk about real stuff, and I love that. So from a hosting standpoint, I don't think I've answered your question, but I think what I'm saying is knowing that's what your audience is looking for gives you the freedom to just be who you are, knowing that they'll meet you, like I said at the beginning of this, meet people where they are. And there's an entire generation of people that know exactly how to do that. And I love it.
It's great advice. And no, you definitely answered our questions and a ton of other questions. Also respect the sneaker game. Yeah. Also wearing some Jordans right now. Big sneaker guy too. I have a nephew who is a huge sneakerhead. I mean, hundreds of pairs. So, I mean,
what sizes is he selling?
Oh, no, he's a collector, man. But when we post the video, I'll definitely tell him that we mentioned it. Man,
I got to find some more. I had a few pair, and then the show bought me a few pair, not particularly, collectible. I have a couple good ones, but I know people who are big sneakerheads, and I just, I'm not in the game at that level, but it looks like I am. So now I have to beef up the game, or I'm a bullshitter.
You got to keep up appearances now. You've got to reap what you sowed.
Yeah,
I'm looking for some sort of back door because retail is not going to work. I'm not that rapper who walks into the store and can buy like 12 pair of $1,000 shoes. So I got to find a hookup.
Mark, I noticed this season they pan out more to show your actual shoes. Like we commented like a couple weeks ago, like, man, Mark's got some great shoe game this season. And
well, I have one pair that people are going nuts about. I had those off whites. Those are my personals I brought. And the internet was kind of tripping on that. But what funny story about that is, in a total typically boomer way, I play a lot of basketball. Guys I play basketball with are younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all chopping it up and hanging out. And one of them sent me a text and said, look, I got a guy. What size are you? I said, I'm a 10. He says, cool. Here's 3 pair of shoes. Are you interested? They're $200 a piece, right? Mm-hmm. And he sent me pictures. And I was clueless of the game at the time, right?
Oh.
And I should have bought all 3. I mean, all three.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I said, well, I like the blue ones. I'll take those. They were the off-whites. I had no idea, right? I had no idea what that was. I had no idea. I'm like, they're weird. They got writing on them, but does that wipe off? I mean, I'm just like,
You're like, what is this?
And so I bought the shoes and I got them home and then had them checked to make sure they were legit. And I'm like, I paid $200 and they're worth like, well, now they're probably only worth about $900, but they were worth $2,200 at the time.
Oh my God.
My head exploded. And then I checked the other shoes that I didn't buy. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. I should just buy them.
You were a flipper before a flipper, man. You didn't even know it.
That's a problem. That's exactly right. I didn't know it, so I didn't flip. So.
Mark, I mean, again, we really, really enjoyed this. Again, this was something that we've joked about, semi-spoken to existence. We started the channel, and we get Mark Walberg. We know we made it. And you know, we're
That's
proud
your bar. You've kept it pretty low, and now you've made it. I'm glad I could help.
Achievable goals. You know what I mean? And again, we really want to thank RayRock. Obviously, he helped foster this, and RayRock for giving us his seal of approval. And he's actually going to be on our next episode. We're going to record tonight, where we actually go over the finale and the reunion in detail. So he's going to come back, and been a great guy. Mark, thank you so much. We can't wait to see your announcements and see what is coming next. And hope to talk again soon in the future. It'd be great to talk again.
You got my numbers.
Yep, we do.
You need some help. I'll be there.
Thanks, Mark. We really appreciate you.
Thanks, Mark.
Have a great day.
Bye,
Thank you.
Mark. See you,
Bye.
buddy.
Bye.
Bye.